Hey guys, Paul here. I got another Q&A for you today. Before we get started to that, please take the time to subscribe to my channel. Got a lot of people watching my videos, not that many people subscribing. You want to show your appreciation? You can subscribe. If you have questions or comments, or you want to be on a future Q&A video, maybe I'll pick your question, put it in the comment section below. If you want to get in contact with me, my contact information is in the description. I am at Paul K. Barnett on Instagram. You can DM me there, or you can shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com. All right, let's dig into this fucker and see what we've got here today. Okay, first question is 400 tested anthate a week with 300 in MPP a good cycle, and will I need an aromatase inhibitor? Well, this depends. Is this your first cycle? Have you done cycles before? Second cycle? I like to start guys off on just testosterone and see how they respond. Lower doses, like 250 milligrams. Go from there. Ratchet it up from there. If they respond well to that, we know if we need to add an AI or not. I would say, everybody aromatizes at different rates. Some have more heavily than others, some not. Generally, I've found the higher your body fat is, the more you aromatize. Lean guys, people that tend to be mesomorphs, don't aromatize that heavily. Guys that are fatsos like me, I'm a fat boy by nature, we tend to aromatize more heavily. Okay, so it really will depend. And also keep in mind that MPP nandrolones have a tendency to upregulate aromatase expression and antagonize the estrogen receptor to a certain degree. So any estrogen you get from that conversion you get from that test is going to be worse when you add NPP to it. With that said, I do like NPP, and estrogen can be useful for muscle building, and it's also cardioprotective and neurologically protective. So if you're trying to put on size, I push the doses as high as I can tolerate without using an anti-estrogen. As long as you're not having prostate issues, swelling in your prostate, or you're not having any issues with gynecomastia, soreness, itchiness in the breast tissue or around the nipples, I let it ride as high as I can take. Me personally, I can push my estrogen or my test up to about 750 without an AI. With nandrolones, once I get above 500, I need an AI. That's just how it goes. But anyway, I would say, first cycle, start off with just the test by itself. I have a video up on first cycles. You can take a look at it. First year, blessing and cruising. That'll be a better explanation. Then I would ratchet the test up, see how you respond again, and then think about adding an anabolic. And MPP is certainly a fine anabolic to add. One thing to think about MPP, if you've never used it before, just another thought on MPP. Some people, nandrolones make them very anxious. So just something to consider. Do not use DECA. Use NPP in case you get yourself in trouble, in case you have a limp dick, in case you get anxious, yada, yada. You can clear it out of your system pretty quickly. All right. Next question. Why not just use Metformin instead of insulin? Well, they do two different things. Insulin is a nutrient drives nutrients into the cell. Okay, it makes the cell, opens the cell up for business, and allows it to absorb carbohydrates, fats, whatever. It is a storage hormone. Metformin does something completely different. Metformin makes the cells more sensitive to insulin. So What do you think happens if you take them both together? One, the metformin makes the insulin work better. So you need less insulin if you're using metformin. Your body needs to make less insulin. So they work really well together. Honestly, if you're going to take one, I would take the other. That's my 2 cents. They kind of go together like mashed potatoes and gravy. If you're using growth hormone, I would say metformin is especially in doses north of 6 units and above, metformin is probably a necessity to maintain your insulin sensitivity. All right, next question we got here. If you get your mammary gland removed, can you get gyno again? Yep, I did. I had surgery on my left pec 3 times. And on my right pec, I've had it done once. I think what happened the first time, I was really young. I just went to a general surgeon. He took the lump out. He didn't understand, he had no clue what caused it. He just thought it was a cyst. He didn't know it was a fucking gland. So that guy was a dipshit. I was a dipshit. I didn't know. I didn't even know what the fuck gyno was. I just knew I had this big, painful lump in my chest and I wanted it gone. I have a history of cancer in my family, and I wanted it out of there. So I was in my early 20s. I got it removed, got it taken care of. Then it grew back, and then I figured out what the fuck gyno was, and then I had gyno. I had it in both my right and my left pec, and I went to a plastic surgeon, a local plastic surgeon, and he clearly did not understand how gyno surgery works. I don't think he got all the gland out. I think he got most of it out, but he didn't get all of it out. And guess what? It grew back again. And just a couple years ago, I went in and had it cleaned up again on my left pec. My left pec looks great now. My right pec, I have gyno growing back from the original surgery. Just a little bit. It's like the size of a marble. Probably going to have to get it fixed at some point. I'm tired of fucking with it. I don't like to have to fuck with it. And I'm going to go drop several grand and get it fixed. So a lot of it depends on your surgeon. If they get all the gland out, I'm not a surgeon. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is tricky getting all the gland out. Maybe I have more glandular tissue than the average person. Mine is more sensitive. So I would research, make sure you get a competent plastic surgeon. Do not go to a general surgeon. Go to a plastic surgeon. I've seen some really awful results from general surgeons. Go to a fucking plastic surgeon that specializes in gynecomastia reduction. Next thing here. Would love to know your thoughts about stacking Anadrol, Deca, and Test Prop as a Kickstarter. I hate the whole front-loading cycles things. Just a terrible idea. And I'll tell you why. A lot of times when I see dudes that get nasty side effects from cycles, acne, gynecomastia, bloat, whatever, it's from front-loading their cycle. You are putting too much into your system at one time. Your body gets overwhelmed with the androgens, and you end up having nasty side effects. Estrogen goes through the roof. You end up having acne from DHT conversion. It's just a mess. And I don't really like orals anyway, especially not for size cycles. They really make no difference. I don't think. If you are going to use them, I would use them at the end of the cycle. I like to take my cycles something like this. I start lower because any additional hormones to what you have naturally are gonna make you grow at the beginning of a cycle. Why blow the tires out at the beginning? And then, to me, it makes no sense to front load and then back off. That makes no sense to me, because when you need it is the extra hormones is when you're not progressing. So progress, increase when you hit a wall. Progress, increase when you hit a wall. Progress, increase when you hit a wall. That's the way I think makes the most sense. Why take more than what you need? You're just going to end up with a shitload of side effects. I've seen no evidence that you you increase muscle protein synthesis in any way. I don't see any additional growth from front loading cycles. I think it's a waste of time, waste of money. Save your money. All right, next one. When you say high volume training, are you counting your warm-ups as part of your volume? No, I do not count warm-ups as part of my volume. No, never. I also have a different opinion on warm-ups than other guys. I think most of the time they are unnecessary, especially if you're doing high volume training because you're not handling huge weights. You don't, once you've warmed up, so for example, let's say I am doing chest and I go in for my chest workouts and I start off with dumbbell bench presses. I'll do two warm-up sets and then go into my working set. That's enough. Get me loosened up, get me ready. But my subsequent sets, let's say I go to do flies after that, do I really need to warm my chest up after doing 5 sets of dumbbell presses on cable crossovers? No. My chest is already warmed up. That's lighter weight. Don't need to warm up. Now, if you're doing shit like heavy deadlifts, heavy squats, heavy flat barbell bench presses, I do think you need to kind of work your way up to the weight. Just if nothing else to prepare your central nervous system for handling those heavy weights. But on auxiliary exercises, no, you don't need to fucking warm up. Once you're past the initial part of your workout, any additional warming up is a waste of time, in my opinion. It is junk volume. It's just contributing to fatigue and not contributing anything to additional hypertrophy, in my opinion. That's my 2 cents. I'd rather save my energy for my working sets. Now, something like the way I used to do it when I was doing deadlifts or something heavy like squats, like let's say if I was working up to a heavy set of 495 on squats, I would start off with 135 for 8, then do something like 225 for 5. And then from then on out, I would just probably do triples, 315 for 3, 405 for 3, and then do my working set because I don't need to do more than a couple reps with those heavier weights. I just want to feel it, get my CNS ready, and then I go for my heavy sets. That's the way I would handle warm-ups. That's my 2 cents. Do what you need to get warmed up, nothing more. All right. What question do we have next here? Why do you say test and primo are the best choice for size and not some other DHT derivative? Well, I don't know that test and primo are the best choice for size. I think they are the safest choice for size. Nandrolone, I think, is probably the best choice for size, but the primo doesn't have the neurological and effects that nandrolone does, and it also doesn't upregulate aromatase expression like nandrolone does. So if you have issues with gyno, I love nandrolone. Nandrolone's my favorite for size. But I use it sparingly. Primo. So let's think about the DHT derivatives. What are our other choices besides primobolan? We have Winstrol. If we use injectable Winstrol, it's still liver toxic. It's rough on the joints, and a lot of people get abscesses and infections from it because it is a water-based injectable. We could use the oral, also very liver toxic. Can't use it for long periods of time. We have Anavar. Anavar's okay. Can't take huge doses of it. It's also liver toxic. We have Anadrol. Same deal. Also liver toxic. Can't take huge doses of it. And we have Proviron, another DHT derivative. Proviron has little to no anabolic action at all. We have DHB, which has never been trialed in humans, also is found to be liver toxic. I don't want to take an injectable that's liver toxic. I want to take something that puts the least amount of systematic stress on my body. So, what does that leave us with? Really, our only two choices for DHT derivatives for injectables are Masteron and Primobolan. Masteron seems to be weaker than Primobolan, but you can use it. You might as well use Masteron, honestly, because fucking most of the UGL Primobolan is just Masteron anyway. But, you know, either or, you know, so here's the thing with those, they're clean. You can run high doses without much problem of Primobolan or Masteron for your anabolic. That's what I would do. That's my 2 cents. All right, what do we got here? Next one. Oh, I like this one. We got a fucking question. For libido, what would be the best cycle if the focus is on being a sex machine with barely increasing muscle gain? I don't care about getting big. I just want to fuck. Proviron. Take Proviron. Proviron will make you horny as fuck. Masteron also makes you pretty horny too. But Proviron, Proviron lights me on fire. It gets the loins a working. And it will also free up it suppresses SHBG, so it will free up if you're natty, it'll make your natural tests even better because you're going to have more free testosterone. So, yeah, Proviron is your answer, my friend. And if you wanted to turbocharge it, it doesn't help libido, but you could add you could add in some Cialis or Viagra to make the party even more fun. All right, on from that one. What do you think is the best muscle gainer for 40 plus besides NPP, or the best over 40 cycle? I am not so much worried about being over 40. My worry, my focus being over 40, I'm an over 40 lifter, would be getting the most with the least amount of negative effects. I don't want to impact my cardiovascular health negatively. I don't want to risk prostate cancer. This is how I think. I don't want to negatively affect myself neurologically. I'm already losing my goddamn mind. I can't remember shit anyway. So I don't need any help in destroying my memory even more. I want to protect my kidneys. So I save the harsh compounds for the last 4 or 5 weeks of contest prep. I mostly stick with any more NPP and Primobolan as my anabolics. I use a test base. Test is pretty safe at moderate doses. You don't hear a lot of problems with people running tests at moderate doses. I try to stay away from aromatase inhibitors where I can. They will fuck your lipids up. Running higher estrogen is neuroprotective and cardiovascular protective. So I let my estrogen, when I am not preparing for a contest, get as high as I can tolerate without getting gynecomastia or having prostate issues. So I leave that alone. So I mean, I think if you could find real Primobolan, test and Primo are probably the safest over 40 cycle they're going to put size on you. Throw in some GH with that. Test, Primo, GH would be my 2 cents. Primo, you can run really high doses of Primo without little to no negative effect to blood work. This is what I've seen. Same thing with Masteron. Masteron can be a substitute for Primo. Masteron's kind of poor man's Primo. Doesn't seem to be as strong of an anabolic as Primo, but it works. A lot of UGL Primobolan is actually Masteron anyway, because a lot of it's fucking fake. So you might as well pay for what you're getting. All right, that's my 2 cents on that one. Let's see, do I have time for any more? Yeah, let's do another one. All right, this one is a silly one. I don't fucking understand this one, but it's a good one to wrap up with. Does tren actually put on muscle maturity on? And if yes, can you keep said muscle maturity without the use of tren? Also, in your experience, how fast does tren ACE work? When should you start feeling the effects? All right. I don't know where guys get this idea that different compounds are going to give you more muscle maturity. Muscle maturity is exactly that. That is from lifting hard over a period of time, and you just get a denser and denser and denser look. You'll see guys as they get older, the guys that have more miles in the gym, the guys that have more years lifting weights, particularly dudes that seem to lift heavy weights, get that more dense, fibrous look. Guys that are volume lifters tend to have more of a bubbly look. I like the bubbly look better, to be honest with you. I don't like that the grizzly dense look, me personally. But to each his own. It seems like the judges at bodybuilding competitions tend to like the bubbly look better. Those are the guys that are at the top of the Olympia. But it's all in what you want. But tren does not give muscle maturity. No compound gives muscle maturity. Just years and years and years and years of lifting. I do think there is a different look. I'm going to backpedal a little bit. I do think there's a different look to guys that have been running moderately high doses of GH for several years. They just get a different look. There's something, they are denser. GH does make dudes look denser but it takes years. It takes years of running GH, years of lifting, years of eating to achieve that dense look that a lot of guys get from GH. All right, dudes, my bros. I guess there's some gals that watch this. I don't know how many. I saw in my YouTube statistics, I think it was like 98% dudes that watch my stuff. I guess there aren't that many gym gals that want to see the things I talk about. All right, guys. Take care.